for posterity, and so that you can share with everybody else that you need to. So can I ask that everybody please mute out their lines if they, except myself. I won't mute myself. And I'm just going to start by pinning myself, but I'm going to be moving my cursor around quite a lot tonight. So welcome to tonight's call. Of course, we have conference wrap up on tonight, and my big word of the day has been absolute gratitude. I want to express my gratitude to everybody who came along to conference over the weekend. Some of you I managed to have conversations with, and I know what you sacrificed in order to be there. So I want to say thank you so much to those of you who came. I also want to say a massive thank you to those of you who live streamed. I know some people live streamed just because they couldn't get there, or it was it was the better choice for them. And I want to say thank you so much for committing to doing that. Of course, you have access to the live stream over the next 2 weeks, the recordings. And listen, this is a great opportunity to connect with your sideline or your upline or your downline to share those recordings over the next 2 weeks. So do use that opportunity if you did have a live stream access. And I also want to thank those of you who didn't manage to get along to conference or didn't manage to live stream, but you're on here tonight. So thank you so much. I'm sure many of you have a little bit of FOMO going on. I want you to revel in that FOMO and just know that you have some very special friends, upline, downline, sideline, who are going to share with you tonight some of the key takeaways from conference, perhaps even the conversations that were had around conference, or even some of the things that happened in the wrap-up session after conference, and maybe even some of the things that have been put in place today that is really going to help escalate our business further. So I'm going to start at the end by saying that we have already locked in our conference for 2020. So this, if you haven't already seen, if you've been hiding under a rock, this is on the Gold Coast. So it's going to be on the Gold Coast next year, 2020. And the dates are, I believe, goodness, I've said this to myself all day today, and of course I can't remember. June 19 is the day for conference next year. So please, if you haven't already, put it in your diary now, so that you don't have an excuse for yourself next year when you can't get a babysitter, or you haven't been able to get out of work, or your hubby hasn't been able to get time off work to look after the kids. So put in your diary now. It will be on the Gold Coast 2020, June 19. And as many of you already know, there's been an opportunity for you to book early bird tickets at ridiculously cheap prices. So you will see on Life Movement and the various leadership web pages, you will see that there is that opportunity. And you will also know that Celine has extended the early bird offer for another 48 hours. So you can access that via the Australian New Zealand Juice Plus site, or I know we've put the link in Life Movement as well. You can book the early bird price, $165 for 2 days, including the gala dinner. And many of us have booked packets of 5 and 10. And I can see, look, everyone has dumped into the conversation here that they have already booked their tickets. Well done, guys, for making that commitment. It's now up to all of us to reverse engineer and figure out what it is that we need to do to get ourselves to conference next year. So I want to remind everybody who is on tonight of the mantras that we need to be sharing with each other. The first is that we love all of you, no matter how much or how little you do in this business. It is all making a contribution to inspiring healthy living around the world. And that is our mission, to do the best we can for the people around us, to listen to people's needs, and then to offer them the solution, whether it be for their health or whether it be for their finances. And I thank you so much for sharing that. I also want to let you know that it's okay to do this business at your own speed, in your own time. It's important that this is something that you love to be a part of. We are all about community here, and it's important that you know that you're part of this community. And the third thing is, it's important to be authentic. Just be you in this business. That's one of the most important things that we learned, and I know a lot of the people on tonight's call are going to share with you the importance of just being authentic and just being absolutely you. Now, of course, conference was absolutely next level. I think that's a comment that I've heard from a lot of different people over the last 24 hours, is they felt that there was something different about this conference. There was a shift. It was almost like a coming of age, a certain wisdom that was experienced at conference this year. And I know a number of our guest speakers tonight are going to talk to this wisdom and this coming of age. But I've also had a lot of people sort of say, oh, I'm a little bit nervous about what I'm going to do from here. I'm in a little bit of overwhelm. I'm not quite sure the next step. And certainly tonight, a wrap up is about you finding your next steps, because Jeff Roberti said it best when we had the opportunity to hear him yesterday. You've just spent the last 48 plus hours learning and developing yourself. And you've taken heaps of notes. Some of you have filled a book. What you don't want to do is take those notes and put them on the shelf, because if you do that, then it's shelf help and it's not self-help. So really what we need to be doing is capitalizing on the time and the effort that you have put in over this weekend and actually putting into play the things you have learned so that you can use this platform from which to scale your business. So it's now about integration. It's now about turning the knowledge that you have developed into a powerful action in this business. So we know that the thing about this, the thing about the fear and the overwhelm that you might be experiencing, is the best way to get out of that is to get into action, because getting into action takes you out of doubt. So one of the things that we learned, particularly yesterday at the wrap out, is it's about taking daily action and doing this consistently. There are people that try to cram this business into one day. I'm just going to give this one day a week and then I'm going to go back to normal life after that. Well, we know that doesn't work. What we would rather you be doing is taking small amounts of daily action. If you can manage to do a half an hour of power or an hour of power in your day, it's going to be so much more valuable. And we've seen people build global empires by just doing an hour of consistent, high-paying activity every single day. And Adrian's going to talk to that a little bit later on in the call. So what that means is that you're going to need to be doing things that are taking you out of your comfort zone. You're going to be needing to do things that others are not prepared to do in order to have the things that others won't ever have. And so it's now about, instead of spending time on the couch, it's about spending time at your desk. It's about perhaps spending some time doing work on the computer or the phone and not watching Netflix. It's about getting out of that scroll hole on Facebook and getting into action and groups on Facebook. You guys worked really, really hard over this weekend, so it's now time to work really, really hard for a short period of time to have those things in life that you really want. So where I want to start tonight is just with one action. Now, some of you have said, oh, you're in a little bit of fear, or gosh, you don't know where you're going to find the time to do this, or perhaps you have other excuses. So I want you to dump into the chat section right now. If you've had a couple of little excuses crawl into your head today, perhaps you felt really tired and you needed to take some time out. Perhaps you got home and didn't quite get the reception from the family that you thought you might get, and so the hesitation has crept back in. What is your excuse perhaps that is just sitting there in the back of your mind? Michelle, she's still on holiday. Oh, you're on holiday, Michelle. Was that a holiday for you the weekend? What are some of the other excuses that you might be having about not taking action? Fear of success, great. Any more? Chloe, you're on holidays now, are you? Okay. Jade, getting back into routine. Family reception. Cara, fantastic. Cara, I'm hoping you sent your family member that little text Anthony told us to. Jody, didn't take action yesterday. Okay, think about the excuses that you made yourself. You thought you'd give yourself some time off. Kids power spewing. Okay, good one, Janine. Kids excuses. Anyone got the time excuse? That crept in for me today. Oh my goodness, where am I going to find the time to do all these things I need to do? Okay, a little bit of overwhelmed, scared. Great. All right. So here's your first action. Everybody has an excuse, don't they? Everyone has a reason why they're, finding it difficult to get back into action or even just to get started. So I want you to write down on a piece of paper what that is right now. And then what I want you to do is something really, really powerful, and that is to come up with 3 solutions to that excuse. Because there's always an excuse to a solution to every reason, isn't there? So if anyone have the time issue? if anyone has the time issue, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, where am I going to find the time? Come up with some solutions. So what are some of the solutions to I have no time? Dump it in the chat section, guys, so we can all share and learn from this. What about getting up a little bit earlier? Oh, I love that. Lee, Mel, you're on board. Good. Shell, you got into action. You felt the fear and you did it anyway. Love it. Mel Robbins, 54321. Sandra, using your lunch break. Well done, my friend. Good stuff. Scheduling it in, prioritizing it over other things. Less time in the shower. That's fabulous. 5-minute showers instead of 10-minute showers. Fill in the diary, book it in. Good one, guys. Any more excuses there that you had? What about family? You don't feel like you've got the family support, or perhaps the kids are taking up too much of your time. Anyone else have any solutions to that excuse? Allocate an hour aside each day for me. Good. Asking for more help more often. Great, Janine. Good stuff. Not feeling like you have to do it by yourself. Any more solutions to the family? I don't think I've got my family support. Making the vision bigger. Asking for help. Justin, turn it around, my friend. Fantastic. Include them. Breastfeeding time. Annalise, brilliant. You only need one hand to breastfeed, right? One hand to send a text. Yep, Nat, love it. Make it for the kids, not away from them. These are great, guys. So I'm going to give you that that little task. If you haven't come up with an excuse, write one down, or when it creeps into your head and you do come up with an excuse, make sure that you also come up with 3 solutions, because that is the thing that's going to get you into action and out of doubt. Now, we have some conference virgins on here tonight who had the amazing experience of what conference was like for the very first time. And it's often great to hear it out of the mouths of babes when you get to experience conference. I've been on so many now that there's often those new experiences that I don't really have the opportunity to experience because I know that they're coming. So I might start with beautiful Annalise. Annalise, I'm just going to pin you, and if you can unmute yourself and just share with us just one aha moment.
One, it was really hard to break it down just to one moment. Okay, so the one that it wasn't exactly like one impactful moment. It was more this message that I'd kept hearing throughout the whole weekend, and not just from the speakers, but also in conversations that I had with people around the place. But I just kept hearing this repeated message that I just need to get out of my head, get over myself, and just do it. You know, throw away all those excuses and just do it. So for me, that really came down to getting past all those feelings of insecurity, you know, that I'm relatively new in the business. So, you know, I'm not really knowing what to do, and getting past all of that, getting over that fear of reaching out to that friend or acquaintance and, you know, saying, hey, you've been on my mind. You know, I've been thinking about you in regards to this, and all that kind of thing. And getting over that concern of, will they still like me when I share this with them? So yeah, just getting out of my head, getting out of all of that kerfuffle that's going on up there, and understanding that everybody else who is in this business goes through that as well. And the difference between those that get stuck and those that push forward is that getting out of their head and just getting on with it. So it's really not an excuse that I can use. You know, oh, I can't do that because I'm worried that my friend won't like me anymore if I tell her about this. And really coming back to that idea that what we have is actually genuinely life-changing. That, you know, this product, it actually changed my family's life. It changed It changed my son's life. It really did. And that can't be taken away from me. And I'm so exceptionally grateful to the people that shared this product with me to help my son, that we have a responsibility to share that with other people, because it could be the thing that changes their life. It could be the thing that changes their child's life. And when I look at it like that, you just can't help but want to share it, because you want to help people. Like, that's why we're here. So I kept hearing that message through the NMD speeches. They were amazing. The 4-year career panel was incredible. I wrote down so many notes from that. And then the thing with when I was listening to Mitch and Mills was, one way to get out of that head space is to follow that map. Follow the map that has been set out before you. Follow the people who have done it before you, and just take it that one step at a time to get there. You stop looking so far ahead and just put the blinkers on and just kind of focus on that map and just do it. And I heard that message again when Lauren LaHave spoke, both on at the conference and at the wrap up. Just to keep going and just take that one step at a time to avoid that overwhelm, to just look at that next step that you have to take. And if you don't know what that next step is, look to your leaders, look to your upline, look to your sideline, and follow that map that's been set out before us. And I think it really wrapped up for me when I was listening to Linda Evenden in the wrap up at the breakfast. And I wrote this down and I've highlighted it, is the mission has to be bigger than the discomfort. And when I'm in my head and I'm worried about all of those things, the fear and will people like me and all that kind of thing, that's huge discomfort. And looking in and really examining myself and working out, who I am and all of that, those questions are so hard to really get through, especially when you're a mum, because your day to day is just, I'm mum. And to really kind of get past that and work out who I am and what makes me unique and why people would want to listen to me, that is huge discomfort to get over. So to look beyond that and look at the mission, look at the responsibility that we have to share this, and to really get back to what my why is, that was just huge for me. And to bring it back to just start, take that one step and take another step the next day and just keep going. That was my huge thing. And I've written the same thing over and over as I've listened. Like I've got this book like full of notes, and I've written it over and over again. Just start one step at a time.
Annalise, so that's great.
That's mine.
Thank you for sharing. And I really appreciate it. And guys, if you ever want to hear a fabulous story, I've asked Annalise to share it into Transformation Hub. If you want to hear a great story about an incredible health change in Annalise's child, then please reach out to her, or how about you encourage her to put her story in the live into Transformation Hub, because
tomorrow.
Good girl. Thank you.
I'll do it tomorrow.
All right, I'm going to move on to Shell. I'm going to pin you, Shell, if you can unmute yourself. Bronnie Hunter, can I just ask you to mute your computer, please? I can't do it myself. So, Shell, you've been in our business a little time now, but this was your first conference, and I know you've been a little bit resistant to come. So tell us what your big aha moment is.
I guess for me, like I have been because I have been in the business for a while, and I know that I haven't taken the action that I need to take, and that all does come from fear. Even just being on this call speaking right now is just so out of my comfort zone, but I'm ready for that, because listening to everybody speak made me just realize they've all felt this way. They've all been through what I'm experiencing, but they've pushed through that and done what they needed to do, and that's how they got where they are. And I really want to get there, and I think I thought I knew why, but there was a moment in particular that really, really hit me hard, really hard in the heart, that it made me cry, because it was just so powerful. And it was when Luce Hawkins videoed in, and one thing she said was, could you look your children in the eyes and say, oh, look, we could have had a better life. I could have done this better, but I couldn't be bothered. Because it is such hard work. I find it very hard to step out of my comfort zone. And just in that moment, I realized it's not a good enough excuse. I can't look at my kids and say, no, sorry, I can't be there for you because I'm too scared and it's too hard for me to deal with that. Like, I'm done playing that game, because it's gotten me nowhere, and I know I'm the only one who's responsible for that. And I have a bigger vision, and I'm not doing this for me anymore. It's about others, which I think is where I really needed to get to. I think it was probably too much about me up until this point. And now a few other things that got said was this isn't about us. This is not an opportunity. This is a responsibility. Like, we are the ones who need to step up so other people can be inspired by that. The way I have been by all the people that spoke at the conference have shown me that, yeah, it sucks feeling this way and facing all these challenges, but you can't get where you want to go without just going through that. And along the way, the confidence comes and the self-worth comes. And so today I reached out to somebody that I'd added a girl on Facebook a few months ago, because I really wanted to connect with her, and I shied out of contacting her. And today I thought, I have no excuse. There is no reason why I shouldn't contact her, because I just felt weird. I thought, this girl doesn't know me. What is she going to think? Who is this girl just sending me this random message saying, hey, do you want to hang out and be my friend? I just felt so uncomfortable with that. But after the weekend, I thought, there's no more excuses. There is no more excuses. I have to take the action to get where I want to be and achieve what I want to achieve. So I messaged her, and she messaged me straight back and said, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I'm really glad that you reached out to me. So it just made me realize how much that fear is in our head. It is that voice that tells us not to, for a million reasons. But today I just thought, no, I'm going to shut it out. I'm going to do the action, because that's what needs to be done, and that's the action I need to repeat and keep doing that. So it felt really good to do that today, because now I feel confident to do that again. And I know that that's just what I need to keep doing, is taking action, taking those steps, because I'm really ready to grow and just be able to be there for other people in the future and help them get through these fears and achieve their goals. I mean, we have so much just potential and possibility here, and I'm not grabbing it because of fear, and that's just ridiculous. And I'm done.
Good on you, Shell. That's amazing. It's kind of like what Mitch and Mills were sharing about the fact that we create the obstacles ourselves. The obstacles aren't put in our way. We just create them for ourselves. So well done.
And I know I do. I definitely know I do, but it's just enough's enough.
Yeah, good girl. I love that. So I'm going to move on to Kelly. I'm going to pin you, my friend, if she's got the badging already going on. Kelly, we've seen some incredible growth in you over the last few weeks. Tell us what conference has done for you.
To be honest with you, it's just been awesome. I've even got my Juice Plus beanie on tonight because it's bloody cold here in Rockingham. But look, I think before coming here to conference, I'll be honest with you, I was out of my comfort zone. I was scared. I met the community obviously on the same video call like this, but to meet people in person was really hard. But you know what? I'm freaking a different person now because this conference has changed me in ways you wouldn't believe. I work 3 jobs. I literally always made excuses. Ask Bronwyn. She would vouch for me that I was probably her hardest task, but you know what? These last few days have been amazing. I love the beanie too. Thank you for that. So what I'm going to say is the one thing that's changed for me, I get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the gym. Then I literally go to work, come back, make excuses not to do this because I'm tired and all that. And when Tamara was saying about excuses, put it in the post, I sat here just laughing because I'm looking at it going, yeah, I had all those excuses, you know, but now I don't. Tonight I haven't watched TV. I haven't done nothing. I've just been in this office. And since coming back now and I've written notes, I got 3 coffee dates with 3 different clients that I haven't seen for a long time. A guy that we try to work on who suffered mental illness to come to the conference, he decided not to. And then he saw our posts between Millsy, Brian, and myself, how awesome it was. And literally now, tonight, he's joined up to go, I want to come to Gold Coast. You know what? And that's what this does. So I talk a lot, as we all know. I even got 2 customers on the flight to Melbourne and back from Perth. And in 2 minutes, I can't teach you that. That's just me. But I'm going to show you DMO is the biggest thing that I've learned. They have drilled it into me for months. And I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. And now I understand it. So I'm going to keep it brief. I've been for like an hour writing notes to make sure I get it right. Probably won't, but that's okay. So speak to people. It's on an aeroplane. When you line up to go to the toilet, if you're going to say hi to someone at the back, you just do it. And just get their name because then you can join them on Facebook. That's what I do. Then you start the conversation after that. The other thing is the big thing for me was just following up people, you know, customers and that. I had probably lacked a bit in that, but now I understand that the biggest thing for me is community. And this is what the whole experience has shown me. There's a community that want to help you. And I've been so frightened to reach out past if I don't know something to ask someone else. But just do it. If you don't know the answer, just reach out because, you know, that's what they're there for. And to be honest, the other thing is I have been anxious, so scared to go to events. And even going for a mental illness walk, which we did the other week, I literally for 4 days tried to stop myself going, even when it's pouring down with rain. And it was the best thing ever happened to me because it just showed me a community there. So now already I'm going to events. I had one in Rockingham. There was one in Mandurah. I didn't go because of my fear. And you know what? Wednesday I'm going to bloody Doubleview and then another one in Jandakot and I'm going to drive. So all I can say, go to events. Even if you don't have people to come with you, just go to it, you know. The other thing, demo. So I'm going to keep this really short. Teamsy, which Tamara and Mel, Tamara started probably, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, maybe. 6 o'clock in the morning. During the week, I can't do it. But when we're in Melbourne, obviously, I'm not working, so I can do it. And Melzy is at my place as well. We were staying. So we got at 6 a.m. and we did it. And it's 30 minutes. You just do it, you know, like there's no excuses, you know. So this morning I didn't go to the gym because I couldn't get there. And so I was on the call. And I've had more success from that 30 minutes this morning than anything. So, look, I think the one thing that hit me at conference, I'll be honest with you, and that really took me out of my comfort zone was a young girl, Rachel Bryan, got up on stage. It was prompted out of nowhere in Millsy's speech, and it was like she was literally sent outside of the room to say, hey, look, put her out there and let's she didn't achieve what she wanted to achieve this year. And when she came back in, we were all told as an audience that when she comes in, it's going to be like the Grammys. We just erupt. And her story was so powerful, it connected with me. And all I said is, I want to connect with this person. And literally, she was walking afterwards through the conference out of the door, and she had 5, 6 people around her. And I was so scared just to say, hey, look, your story touched me. I want your name. And, I looked at her for 4 times and no, don't, yes. And, I just went, stuff it. I just went. And now we've had the best conversations since. And that's what this conference is about.
I love that.
Still believe in here.
Beautiful, Kel. Hey, Kel, Orit's just asked the question because you managed to summarize it in 30 seconds on the plane. How did you start the conversation with the lady on the plane? Can you just summarize it for Orit? Because it's very funny, but it's very effective.
So what happened was the lady was coming down with the coffee trolley, so I got pushed at the back of the plane. And there's this lady with the baby. And I said, give me a high five. And the baby gave me a high five. And then I just had a conversation, oh, you coming, you're from Melbourne or you're from Perth? And then she goes, oh, I'm coming from Melbourne. So what are you doing in Melbourne? And she said, oh, just visiting a sister. Oh, you live in Perth where you live? Oh, yeah, I live in Clinton. Oh, okay, so what do you do for a job? Are you looking after your kid or you're working? Oh, I work 1 day a week. I said, oh, where? And she said, oh, at this school I'm a PE teacher. I said, well, actually, I work at this school. Do you know this person? And then that's how it was. I said, what's your name? She gave me her name and I memorized it. So then Facebook, now I have a connection. That was it.
There you go, Orit. There's no secret sauce. You just asked. Brilliant. Kel, thanks so much for sharing. I love your infectiousness and I am so excited to see what happens with you because you're on fire, my friend. Let's move on to Janine. Now, Janine, I don't think you'll mind me sharing with everybody that you've been in this business a little while now, and this was your first conference. Tell us what you got out of it.
Yeah, so guys, I have been in this business for a while now, 6 years in fact, and I'm a bit of a slow burner. Things are going to get there, but I've been consistent in the fact that I haven't gone away, and I think a lot of people give up at this point or just go, it's not for me. And I've just been trolling along, playing the game, watching what everybody's doing, and slowly learning all the way along. And I've been in a bit of overwhelm myself between motherhood and businesses and moving house and all the rest. But I really did feel like I needed to go this year. And so thanks so much, T, for, encouraging me to get there. But I gained so much from this conference, you guys. It was so much for me. It was about the sustainability of the business, but also of the farming principles and product principles that come into it, the ethics behind the brand. And the fact that, we really do have a privilege and a responsibility to be in this position to educate other people and inspire them to do the right thing by their bodies and by our planet. That I think we almost take for granted that people know this stuff, or they know how to eat, or they know that fruits and vegetables are good for you. But a lot of people don't. And my chemist even said it to me today. And I had to go down and get some, Hydrolate for my daughter. And I was saying, I can't believe on airplanes how the food that they feed some children. And she said, oh, well, people just don't know. And I was like, you're right. They don't know. And it's our job and our duty to inspire them. I think that was Liza Pebble's presentation where she really talked about that and how deeply embedded that is in our company. And that makes me really proud because that's a huge part of me and who I am as a person, really connecting women to nature and to the food that they're eating and how that makes them feel. It's really something that I want to leave as my legacy. And even though we have a beautiful garden, and even though we eat organic fruits and veggies and we grow all our own, this product is still vitally important to our family. And so when people say to me that, we eat lots of fruit and veg, well, you're not eating the raw stuff. And I think it was David O'Brien's presentation as well, where he hit on that, where, he's showed that slide of weapon of mass destruction. And it was all the prepackaged junk food in the weapon. And it's bloody spot on, guys. And it's all around us when you go to the supermarket or when you look at what people around you eat. And it actually makes me a little bit sad, but it's something that we have the power to change. The other thing that really hit me was Anthony Gollay's presentation, where we all did that heart breathing exercise. So I have been very much attuning to mindfulness for probably just over the last year. and bringing meditation into a part of my daily life. And when we did that heart breathing meditation together, like I just closed my eyes, and I've actually messaged a few of my meditation mindfulness crew and said, you would not have believed the energy in that room. I know a lot of people wouldn't have done something like that before, but that was incredible. And even when he had everybody yell, I couldn't come out of it. I stood there with my eyes closed and just felt that energy erupt, and it was awesome. Yeah. So it was one of those moments that I've just been so excited about, and so excited to share. And I think that energy that we've come back with is absolutely infectious. So we just need to wrap a bubble around ourselves, ignore the haters, keep this energy flowing, and keep offering inspiration and empowerment to people who need it. Because you never know who you're going to chat to. Who might actually be like, I absolutely need this in my life, and thank you for introducing it to me.
Yeah, good on you, Janine. And that is something that came out. So when the recordings come out, guys, Lisa Pepple and Dave O'Brien gave some brilliant product and product-oriented presentations. So make sure you access those. Alana, I'm now going to move on to you, my friend. This was your first conference, and I want you to be vulnerable and tell everybody about the conversation we had about 6 weeks ago.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So, about 6 weeks ago, we all went around to one Ms. Natalie Baldock's house for a bit of a family dinner and a pre-conference discussion, and I attended. And I think maybe it was about a week later, I called Tamara and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to go. And to say that she was gobsmacked, I think, is a bit of an understatement. So I wasn't going to go to conference. Honestly, I just wasn't feeling it. I just felt that there wasn't that, connection. So, yeah, I didn't feel like I wanted to go. And so Tam and Nat swung into action and sat me down and I guess gave me some hard truths and got me back on course. And I ended up at conference. So, yeah, it was I went in with no expectations because I really didn't know what to expect. And one of the things that I actually really did enjoy, even though I felt that day one was probably a little bit flat in some areas, was a little bit flat in some areas. I did actually find it really good just to hear like more of the backstory. It's the stuff that you don't really see. If you're working in an office, you know sort of what's going on around you. You know about the system improvements that they're doing, and you're already starting to get to see some of it. So I did find that was actually really helpful for me because it helped me to see the bigger picture, I guess. But I guess my biggest takeaway was probably more about community. I spent 4 days I'd never actually met Janine before. I'd never met Sharon before. And honestly, we all just got along like such a house on fire. I don't think you ever would have known that we had never really spoken to each other beforehand. It was just, and Cara as well, who came down from Newcastle, like we just had a really great time. So it was that community feel, but then it was also at the wrap up, it was something that Shani actually spoke about because she was talking about doing the power hour and doing it with other people, which Kelly also touched on tonight in terms of the doing the DMO at 6 a.m. It was, I know that I certainly sit here sometimes and I feel like I'm alone because I'm used to being in an office where there's other people around me and you sort of all get on and you do your work, and if you've got a question, you just sort of, hey, can someone help with this? And you come back. And yeah, I just feel that sometimes we don't really, I feel like it's not there, but then sitting there and listening to Shani say, do your power hour together, because then if you've got those moments where you get stuck, like you've got people immediately available to help you. But also, like everyone that you spoke to, it didn't matter who they were, where they were from, what their background was. If you asked a question, everyone was just so willing to help. And it just really reminded me that everything that you need is already around you. You just have to ask. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Alana. Really great share and such valuable information. So Carla DaCosta, we're going to finish off all the conference virgins with you, my friend. This was your first conference.
Yes. First.
Give us in a nutshell, what was your takeaway?
Yes, my takeaway. So yeah, definitely my first conference, and like the first time I sort of understood how it was all working. I think the thing that I was sort of surprised by, and I hope nobody, like, it's okay to say it, I was surprised with how many of us weren't on the stage. Like, so much Queensland up there. And, you know, because I'm new, so I was, you know, asking Val about this. Like, why is that? You know, and I guess there's no real answer to that, because we all know the mechanics, and the mechanics, you know, work. We all know that. And so I guess I was sort of sitting back and thinking about that, and sort of looking at some of the ladies on the stage, and, you know, sort of finding, I guess, the common denominator. You know, why my team weren't there, why I hadn't shown up in the past for different things. And I realised that for me, from what I could see, that the biggest distraction from this business, well, the biggest thing that can be either a distraction or a motivation for all of us, and it has been for me too in the past, has been our personal life. It can either be a motivation or an inspiration, or it can be a complete distraction from the business. And it made me realise the importance of having really high standards for what I keep in my personal life, for myself, for the people I keep around me, and the importance of keeping my personal standards really high in terms of how I show up, so that the people underneath me show up too. Because certainly some of my team, yeah, that's right, we're like the ninjas. But, you know, certainly some of my team, I notice when I get them, you know, on board, and, you know, they sign up and those sorts of things, often one of the reasons why they sort of fall away is because something in their personal life makes them pull back. You know, they have a relationship problem, or their self-belief, or, you know, their partner doesn't support them, or work drama. And, you know, in the past, that's been a big thing for me too. I didn't always have a partner that was supportive. So it's made me realise the importance for me to really have a strong vision for myself, so that my personal life might never always be perfect, but the vision is strong enough that everything else around me just stays around me and doesn't detract me too much. And the importance that I really help my new team is have a really strong vision for themselves too. So they always keep an eye on that. I think that's something that was a big takeaway for me. Different from everybody else's, sorry, but that's, you know, what I guess saw.
Do you know what though, Carla? It's also how you position that in moving forward. So you can feel bad about that, but equally you can use that as an incredible driver.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's for sure, but I think all of us.
Populate that stage. And what is it that we have to do over the next 6 to 12 months in order to ensure that that we're certainly populating the stage? Because this is a process, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
I can't remember. I think it was Anthony talking about, you know, this is our Everest and we just have to keep climbing it. Yeah. And so I think this is a perfect opportunity now for us to move on to Adrian Haywood, who has been to conference before, but he's going to share a little bit about some of the things that he learned, particularly in the wrap-up, particularly coming off the back of his second big conference where, you know, his intention was in place. What are the things that you've learned, Adrian, that now need to be put in place to move forward in this business?
Thanks, Tam. Oh, man, Kelly, met you this weekend. Absolutely love your energy, girl. I'm picking you up. We're going north, so you've got a seat with me. Look, I have been to a couple of conferences now, and I've got something out of all of them. And I think there was a couple of good light bulb moments in Sacramento when I was over there with Tam, and that's helped me a lot. But I just can't believe, even with all the multiple conferences that you know, after Melbourne, that, you know, it just stands out. But what I really, really felt from Melbourne this time, and I think some people that have been to a few conferences would agree, I just think there was so much more honesty around the fact that you've actually got to fucking work. Guys, it's not going to get handed to you on a plate. You know, you've got to treat this like a business if you want to be paid like a business. If you want a couple of $100 a month, no worries. Catch up for brews every now and then. You know, send out a couple of messages and you'll make a couple of $100 a month. And if that's for you, no offense, that's fine. Like, honestly, that's not. But if you are expecting a decent paycheck, you've got to expect to work, because I worked my ass off in my traditional businesses. Like, seriously, I did a post about it today. I had a guy comment and I just put 100% as the reply. Right, if you want to have a look at the post I did, have a look. His name's Ross Sears, and I just didn't want to be negative. I'm just like 100% because it looks like I don't do anything. But he forgets I've done so. It's the old iceberg analogy. You know what I mean? Like, no one sees what you're really doing to have that cream on top. And I think if you guys want what those people, and they were saying it's easy to see us on stage, and the light bulb just went boom. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm working hard. Don't get me wrong. I've got to work smarter. So it's all right. I'm working hard, and we've got the resources. We can look at Tam and go to Nat and go to all of that, whatever, and go to our team, right? We've all got that. But you've got to work hard. Guys, you've got to expect to be consistent. That's one thing they kept going on about. You have to be consistent. You know, you've got to do your DMO. All the ladies have said that, you know, tonight. You've got to show up, but you've got to expect to work hard. If you really want this to be what's going to free you and pay you like a business, pay you a decent wage, you've got to work hard. All right, I've got a couple of notes here. Success is definitely not easy. So I took the two big things I wanted to share were from basically Shani, and there was heaps of good things over the weekend. I took heaps of notes, but I just love that girl. Seriously, that's how I found out about Teamsy. She's just such a sweet boy. She just resonates with me. Failure. She basically said failure is what makes the journey, and I don't know if that necessarily makes sense to people, and I just want to explain a little bit how what that means to me. You know, our mess is our message, and I think what that means is you still need to share it. You've got to be vulnerable when you make those mistakes, and no one knows what they don't know. So if you're not prepared to, you know, I think especially with social media these days, you've got to be prepared to share your life, share your story. What you are now is what you are now. You're not just going to be, you know, it doesn't not going to mean anything in 4 years if all of a sudden you get wearing Louis Vuitton and you're down the beach and you're drinking pina coladas. It's not going to mean anything. We've got to show them the story, share the mess. And it's definitely a relationships business. You know, people, I think with the social media thing, myself included, you know, we think, I do a few ads or do this or do that and going to get, you know, through this funnel and everything's going to happen and I'm going to get all these leads. It doesn't work like that. It still needs to come offline, or you can do it online, definitely build relationships. I have as well. But the thing is, it is relationships. You've got to build that trust. You've got to have that love with someone to be able to, you know, that real trust to be able to share the product and your passion for whatever it is that you're into, the business, the products, whatever, nutrition, and that comes across. But you've got to build that relationship and that trust. And Shani definitely, like if you watch stuff from Shani and her trainings, you can feel the passion with her, you know, trainings. The last thing, and Tamara asked me to make sure I shared this, so I wrote it down. She gave us some numbers on Sunday, and I think it really does reflect the hard work. So I really want to give you guys that realistic idea, and I know I'm pumping out some big numbers, and that's definitely how it pays off. Basically 60 reach outs. So, and what does that mean? That means messaging, you know, in your network, when you make that list of 100 or 500 or whatever it is that you're going to do, that's just sending them a message. Hey, how's your day? I've been thinking of you. Hope you're well. It's been a while. Something like that. Just something really relatable. And you might not even get a response, but sometimes you will. And then Kelly, if you want any tips on how to have a conversation, Kelly needs to do the training. She's a gun. But then you might send out 30 invites. So 60 reach outs, 30 invites to get 11 premium orders. So there's a lot of work there, guys. We know how many orders we need to qualify. We know how many orders we need to be, you know, how much. Yeah, that's it. I've talked enough. Hope you got something out of it.
So I just want to qualify for everybody that 11 premium orders would get you a 4,000 point business to get you SDVF. And then, of course, you've got that lovely VF in there as well. You were there, Ada. You were there. But, yeah, the numbers were quite striking that Shani was talking about. And she wasn't talking about the nutritionist sharing or the nutrition coach or the doctor. She was talking about the average Joe, doing those 60 reach outs to get 30 links sent out to get your 11 orders and your VF. So beautifully shared, Ado. So just on that note, guys, I would like to share with you really quickly before I hand over to Nat, who's going to wrap it all in a bow for us. Some of the things that are coming up over the next few months that you need to be aware of. I'm just going to share my screen here. The very first thing that you need to be aware of is, can you all see that PowerPoint? Good. Is the 5-1 bonus, okay? So this is something that has come back. I feel really old because this is something we were doing 10 odd years ago. But from June, so the 1st of June, so we're already halfway June, so any orders that you have had go through this month will count towards the 5-1. What that means is 5 orders. They could be premium orders, they could be complete orders, whatever they are. 5 orders and 1 brand new franchisee or business partner, as we now call them, and that person must have an order as well. That's what a 5-1. I think Carla Thomas probably has the record for how many months in a row she did 5-1. Drop it in the chat, Carla, so everybody's got something to compete against. If you do it in the first month, you get an extra $100 bonus. So not only will you get the retail profit, not only will you get the commission if you're in a commission structure, but you'll also get an additional $100, which is brilliant. After that, if you do it the next month, so that'll be June, if you do it in July, that's another $100. So all of a sudden you've got another $100. Brilliant. If you do it in July and then do it again in August, so you've now done June, July consecutively, and you do it in August, that's $150. Brilliant. And then if you do it in September, that's $200. So this is just running at this point in time, as we understand, this is just running from the 1st of June till the 30th of September, so 4 months there. So isn't that interesting? That's just leading into game plan in Queensland. So that's quite a nice little 90-day goal you can give yourselves. Now, let's say that you didn't start that until July. Let's say June was just your practice month. So month 1 would be July, month 2 would be August, and month 3 would be September. So you'd get 100, 100, and then 150. So guys, I'm going to tell you now, there's a lot that I can't tell you, but I'm going to tell you now, this is vitally important for you to be tapping into this. Whether you get the money or whether you don't, it doesn't matter, but you all need to be working towards a qualified business. That is between 20 and 30 customers you personally have, and you are going to be rewarded for collecting those customers. So that's really, really good. I'm working off 2 screens here. Our second thing that is changing is our Shred 10. Now, I know some of you already have your own programs, and that's brilliant. You may wish to continue with those, but Shred 10 is getting a facelift. A lot of the feedback has been around, and certainly within our team as well, the feedback has been that Shred 10 has the connotations of stripping weight, and that's not what we're all about. We're about changing people's health. And so it will be renamed Kickstart 10. And you can see here some of the imaging: Kickstart 10 your nutrition, Kickstart your hydration, Kickstart your health, Kickstart your fitness. So this will be a rebrand, and you will start to see this material come into the resource that we have. The third thing that we will now be able to access is a new starter guide. Now, this at the moment, and I'll drop the actual link itself into the recording. I'll drop it into the pages that can be shared to all the team pages. But there's already a flip chart. You can go and have a look at the starter guide, and it will be coming onto the virtual office very soon. But this is essentially for those teams that don't necessarily have their own starter guide. This is a starter guide around things like understanding your mission, getting your story down with plot, developing your why, developing your list, getting your grid happening, and it's a really nice, concise starter guide for your business. So they're the things that are coming into play in the next couple of months, so keep an eye out for those things. So I now want to hand over to Nat. Actually, no, we've got Ange first. Sorry, Ange. Ange, you're first, because Ange has got a couple of events that she wants to share that are on the calendar. Ange, I'm trying to find you. So can you just mute yourself, my friend, and get going?
She sent me a message. I'm going to have to do Ange because she's still trying to put Charles E down.
All right.
Yeah? No?
Yeah, go for it.
Ange, where's your message? There it is. Okay, right, here we go. Sorry. She's literally sent me a message while she's in the bedroom with Sunny. Charlie, sorry. So no event Tuesday the 18th. 19th, Wednesday's the first event as a Doctor and the Foodie. So this Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. at Tamara's house. If you need the address, PM Tamara, put it here maybe. 24th, Monday night is the US speaker. What's the name of her again, Tamara?
At the moment, we're looking at Ashley Hudson, who's an incredible motivational speaker. She's an NMD from the States, and she'll be presenting next Monday night.
Oh, yes. She was awesome in the States. Yes. Tuesday night is Michelle Goodrick. We're running the Inflammation Facebook Live event. Looking forward to that one. 26th, Wednesday is Justin Borg at the gym. Can't wait to see his gym. And that's the Doctor and the Foodie again down there. So that'll be wicked. Get in there and support that one. That should be a big night there. And then All Flies in Life Movement. That's it.
Fabulous. Thanks for sharing that. So, Natty, I'm going to hand over to you now just to wrap all this in a bow for us.
No worries. Just to add to those events, Mel Brandt and I are going to do another anxiety live Facebook next Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Perth time. We had a look at the traction and the stats behind this last call, and we had 14,000 people watch the call in the first 24 hours. Mel Brandt reckons it was the biggest boost of customers she ever had in history. So if you would like, I will share the Flyer in Life movement so you can share that with people that might want to jump on drive time on the way home from work, 5:30 Thursday week. Okay, so I just want to add to that. And also just to clear up some confusion, this Wednesday's Doctor and Foodie in Tamara's, next Wednesday's in Jandakot. Because I just saw a flyer come out advertising that it was in Doubleview. So it's actually in Jandakot. So please don't turn up to Tamara's house Wednesday week.
You can show up this week.
Yes, but please come in 2 days' time because we're super excited. I am pumped for this event on Wednesday. I feel like something has shifted in all of us. And anyway, I just wanted to say, first of all, congratulations to everybody that came. But I also want to say congratulations to every single team member that watched on the live stream. I know that I particularly have team members that watched the live stream, that actually bought their conference tickets, that bought their Money Mastery tickets, and now looking at the dates for conference and looking at accommodation. So kudos to you. Massive kudos to Adrian Hayward, who bought 10 tickets. I think this is phenomenal. And this is what Anthony Golay was talking about when he was talking from stage. If you build it, they will come. Have you ever just left things to the last minute because you wasn't sure who was going to come and then no one came? But if you actually book the big house for 20 people, if you buy the 10 tickets, you are really energetically connected to filling that space. So for the next 24 hours, those tickets are $165 each. I would love to see our entire organisation buy one ticket for themselves and a ticket for a friend at least. And that would just be phenomenal. I know that commitment actually drives action. Now, what I really wanted to share with people is that conference was wonderful this year, and the reason why it was more wonderful than most years, I think it gets better every single year, but I think it was really about the vulnerability that we actually got to see in so many of our leaders. We saw from Sophie, we saw from Shani, and we even saw from Anthony Golay that he has been expressing that he has had flat moments. I want us to just feel that and know that in this group, you are fully supported at any point in time. And one of the biggest driving forces that I've had throughout the time in my business is that, you know, things are hard outside in life. I have this community propping me up, holding me up. And we are so fortunate to have each other. And I think we need to ask for help. Everybody needs to ask for help. There's a lot of you that expressed to me at conference that you don't want to ring Tamara, or you don't want to ring myself, or you don't even want to ring any other leader because you think we're really busy. Well, I would love to share something with you. It's not, we don't do this because, it's a job. We do this because it's a responsibility. And we work for you. The higher up we are, we work for you. It's not the other way around. If you call us and say, I need support, we respond to that. So whatever action people are taking, we will match that action. And the thing that I want to really say to people is if you are turning up, showing up, we will show up with you. Give you a great example. Danica Coric and Amy Hoff, they both watched the entire weekend. They both bought their conference tickets. They both bought Money Mastery tickets, and they're here with me tonight. And so the most amazing thing about that is that we're making a plan for the future. We're showing them the pathway and they're expressing their needs. And now we're mapping that out and moving it backwards. And we're going to be doing a lot of these events moving forward in the future, where we actually get to look at what we want to earn, look at what we want to do with our lives, attach a beautiful heart's desire to that, and actually step it backwards, because without a plan, we actually won't get there. If you don't know how much money you want to earn, if you don't know where you want to go in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, it's very hard for us to step it out for you. So you need to be very clear with us. You need to be telling us your goals. So I just wanted to say how grateful I am to this team. I'm very, very grateful to all of the leaders above me as well, because they have done a phenomenal job in organising what was an amazing feat. Between Tamara and I, there was probably 140 of our team, and there was 1,200 guests there. We were over 10% strong. I want to say congratulations to every single person that achieved a small goal or a big goal at conference, and a massive, we had 3 NMDs on that stage. We did a very, very good job as a team, and you should all be very proud of yourselves, because it doesn't matter if they're in your direct downline or sideline, we are responsible for that success in some small way, because it's an energetic connection within the team. So everyone should be super proud of themselves. And I think the best thing we can all do now is really stop making excuses and just start moving forward each and every single day and reaching out to people we care about and making really beautiful connections with people. That's the most important thing, is solid, authentic, genuine connections with people, and just truly loving people at the highest level, doing things over and above, being that better friend and being solution orientated with people, because it doesn't matter what problem somebody will have, our business and our product has an answer to that each and every time. So I just wanted to say, I love you guys. You've got this in the bag. You know what you're doing. Reach out for support and turn up to everything you can, because if you turn up to everything like Carla did, like Tam did, like Bron did, like I did, like all the leaders here that turned up every single week, they are the ones with the paycheck and they are the ones with the freedom. So I love you guys. Hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday, and then we're going to see you in Jandakot on Wednesday, and we're going to see you online, and we're going to see you on every training call every week. And I tell you what, when we see your faces, we will respond. Love you guys. Good night.
Thanks, Natty. Love it, everybody. Remember, just get into action in some way every single day. Doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever. Reach out, connect with people, and let's just get this business rocking, because we've got a lot of work to do to get to the Gold Coast next year. Have a beautiful night, everybody. Thanks so much for jumping on. Really appreciate it.